Over the years, mixed-race couples and families have become more common in advertising campaigns. While this could be seen as a positive representation of inclusivity to some, of course, some controversies and criticisms have been sparked. And I have my own opinions about them, which is exactly why I'm making this video. These criticisms range from questions about the authenticity and motives behind these portrayals to downright hateful, prejudiced remarks and reactions. In this video, we will examine these issues, explore the impact of interracial couples in advertising, and discuss why it's important to challenge our assumptions and biases when it comes to representations of race in relationships. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the video. The initial boom. Interracial couples and families have been a common sight in advertisements for a while now. In February 2005, NBC published an article discussing the rise of multicultural images in the late 1980s. Billboards and magazines featured images of a black and white woman hugging an Asian baby, a black woman breastfeeding a white baby, and among others. By the time the article was written, it had become quite normal to see more diversity in commercials. However, the ads mainly featured just 2 racial groups, and sometimes up to 4. It also mentions how people are usually associated with the people in their neighborhoods and immediate surroundings, which are usually people of the same ethnic or racial group as them. So seeing ads of a few white and black kids hanging out most likely wasn't as common as it is today, almost 20 years later. So it would seem like from here, the future of ads and marketing will only get more inclusive and more diverse, and hopefully that would reflect the reality of US consumers, right? Well, not quite. The controversies. In 2013, Cheerios aired an innocent commercial of a biracial girl asking her white mom if Cheerios was actually good for your heart. We'd then see her black dad covered in Cheerios because she wanted to make his heart healthy. Super harmless and pretty adorable ad, in my opinion. But many viewers were not happy, leaving disgusting remarks about Nazis and racial genocide. I'm gonna take a wild guess, and I'm gonna say that these were the people who were making those remarks about racial genocide. But anyway, ABC talked with Sajeev Varkey, the USF Associate Professor of Marketing at the time, about the ad, and he mentioned how this is only a sliver of society and it doesn't truly represent their audience. So it's clear that the main reason behind these ads is to show more diversity, in turn, making us feel better about feeling represented. But is this really an accurate depiction of what modern couples and families look like? Well, it depends on who you ask. Why is this the new norm? In a 2021 article by The Voice of America, they spoke to a single white woman raising a biracial son, who said she's happy to see that these kinds of depictions of mixed-race families are more common in ads, especially since it can help kids like her son feel more accepted and included, which is something I definitely agree with. And while that can be seen as a positive, it's important to point out that over 50% of these ads feature a white man with a black woman, when in reality, black men are twice as likely than black women to date outside of their race. Now, am I saying that companies should feature more black men and white women in their ads? No, that's not even close to why I'm making this video. I say all of this to raise the question, why is the common idea of interracial relationships strictly black and white people? The short answer is slavery. I think we all know that. But why is this the only narrative still being pushed almost 60 years after the ban on interracial marriage was lifted? The truth is, advertisers will almost always choose to cater to a white audience. And with over 70% of actors who appeared on TV and digital ads in 2022 being white, it's not going to be hard for them to keep it up. Morgan State University professor Jason Johnson pointed out that ads feature a white man with a black woman made white people feel more comfortable than seeing a black man with a white woman, which confirms that ads are still pushing a narrow-minded narrative with racial bias. I could do a whole deep dive about how the modern portrayals of mixed-race families are driven by cultivation theory and social cognitive theory, but I highly recommend checking out FD Signifier's video about black people and interracial relationships. It's definitely a long video essay, but I definitely recommend it, and it was part of inspiration for me to make this video. Another reason why companies keep pushing these ads is, well, it's an effective business strategy. While some people are glad to see this version of inclusivity and feel that it's a positive thing to be seen in ads, there are just as many negative and racist comments that people have to say about them too. And it's honestly pretty sad to see how much hate casually gets spread online surrounding this topic and just social media alone. There are valid criticisms revolving the constant rise of interracial relationships in media, and being hateful simply just isn't one of them. At the end of the day, It doesn't really matter whether a company is getting bad press or good press. Talk is talk. And the power of social media and online engagement can be pretty valuable for companies because they will always find a way to win over their consumers. In my opinion, I'm over mainly seeing white man with a black woman in ads and just depicted in media overall. And no, I'm not saying this because I'd rather see a black woman with a black man, even though I would. It's because I'd rather see all different types of families represented. Not just black people, not just white people, but more reflections of the dozens and even hundreds of cultures that make up the United States. There are so many voices that deserve to be heard, and I think it would do us all good to have more of an open heart and compassion towards others. So I would hope that in the next 5 to 10 years we would see this in fruition, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.